bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de esa mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today, although he will be with us this evening, 6:05 p.m. Pacific time. Miguelito Santiaguito, not with us this morning, but he will be with us either tomorrow or Thursday. Regardless, we come on here each and every single morning. We come on here. And as you guys know, we properly salute our boys and each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 8th day of July 2025. I hope everybody had a safe and fantastic 4th of July weekend. Today's Daily Hustle quote of the day: to be misunderstood is to be great. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Daily Hustle translation: personally, I have been misunderstood my entire life. When I wrote a paper about wanting to be a professional baseball player and sports broadcaster, I was told I needed to pick something more realistic. When I got to UCLA and then professional baseball, my go-hard style of play was taken by many as being reckless and showing other players up. When I navigated my way into broadcasting, my authentic style was viewed as over the top and unprofessional by the vast majority of TV suits. When I lobbied for the automated strike zone and implemented for the first time in pro ball, San Rafael Pacific, shout out, by the way, 9 years ago, that's crazy, people thought we would never see it in Major League Baseball. As for the ultra endurance adventures I have embarked upon, people outside of that world have a very difficult time comprehending how or why anybody would challenge themselves to such an extreme level. When we launched the Savannah Bananas First World Tour, we were mocked and laughed at by baseball traditionalists. As the Bananas sell out MLB and NFL stadiums on a nightly basis, who's laughing now? As popular as the Deuces Wild podcast with No Filter, with Will Clark on No Filter Network has been, we still have many critics who are offended by our unfiltered approach to analyzing and teaching the game. Lastly, as I now dedicate a large majority of my life to playing pickleball, the jokes certainly have come early and often. Bottom line, if we are doing epic shit with our lives, we will undoubtedly be misunderstood. But as our dude Ralph so brilliantly reminds us, to be misunderstood is also to be great. So let's just keep being fucking great. That's it. EB. I like this one. I was searching for a quote this morning, and Chris Anderson, who was Chloe's ski coach back in the day, had actually put together this quote book. And this quote book was given to me by Chris Anderson's parents after Chris tragically passed in a car accident on his way to the slopes one day. So I've had this book, and for a long time, it was down by the treadmill. And I just kind of flip through it, and every now and again, just read these cool quotations. And I would open at various parts of the book. And again, like, there are these different quotes, and I've used a lot of the quotes in Daily Hustles before. Well, I hadn't seen the book in a long time. It went missing. Well, it was tucked behind the Daily Hustle vision board that I have downstairs in my setup. And I then started reading it. In the beginning parts, was like a couple page explanation that Chris had written. explaining exactly how and why he came up with this idea to gather these quotes. And the cool thing about it is he was talking about his dad questioning him, like, all right, dude, like, why are you really doing this? He's like, because I want to. It's like, okay, there's got to be an ulterior motive here. Like, what's the real reason? He's like, nah, I want to. So it was really cool to see that exchange. And then I know what Chris is feeling, what he was feeling, I guess, because I just think sometimes in life we hear things, see things that we want to capture. And sometimes they're beyond words, right? But my dad taught me this when he was still alive. And I know he actually shared this not only with me, but with anybody else who would listen. My dad became very routine oriented, especially in his later years. I would say even earlier, probably it was the martial arts. I have a whole book downstairs of it's got to be 100 pages of martial arts teachings. And some of these teachings and writings are his, and others are from Bruce Lee, from Ed Parker, whatever. But it just, I think, is a really good reminder for all of us in this shortened attention span world that we live in. Let's make sure we're immersing ourselves in the moment. Let's make sure we're not just fleeting one off to the next. And I think one of the best ways to do that, and one of the best ways to appreciate our education, knowledge, whatever, is to document a lot of this stuff. And I'm not talking about necessarily document on Instagram or Twitter. It's look, sometimes writing in a journal, and that's where the effort list came from. That's where the daily hustle came from. I get it. You guys, you'll see the finished product if you're a subscriber to the Daily Hustle email, or you go on Instagram or whatever. But my hope is too, when I write these things, I realize that the majority of the people that end up seeing this on Instagram, whether it's 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, a million, I don't really give a fuck. What I really care about are the ones that are going to engage, the ones that are going to read through and truly understand. And so this morning's quote about being misunderstood, it just hit. And it hit different. And that's what Chris was explaining before he went into the other quotes in his quote book. All the people that don't understand, I don't want to pigeonhole them and say that they don't get it. Yeah, whatever. They don't get you. They might get life. They might get their own version of life, but they don't get you. And that's okay. People don't have to fucking get you. People don't have to understand why the fuck I play pickleball. People don't have to understand why I love writing the Daily Hustle. People don't have to understand why I love Bulldogs. People don't have to understand why I played the game of baseball the way I did. People don't have to understand why I coach the baseball the way I do. People don't have to understand why Will Clark and I do our thing every Tuesday night and cut loose, right? Most people don't understand. They don't understand the endurance runs that I've done or do or whatever. They don't get it. And it's okay. And I'm okay with that. And it doesn't make them any lesser people. But I will say, the more epic shit you do, the more people don't understand. It's okay. On that note, let's get cranking here. Power rankings. I found this interesting for Major League Baseball because these are the Athletics' most current power rankings released today, the 8th of July at 5 a.m. Okay, here is how it goes. You guys ready for this? Fresh off of getting swept by the Houston Astros, the number one ranked team in Major League Baseball, according to The Athletic, the Los Angeles Dodgers. What the fuck, man? Are you serious? This makes no sense at all. Their record is 56-36, and they're on a bobsled the wrong direction. That takes me before I even mention 2, 3, or 4, to number 5, the Houston Astros at 55-36. So just one less win than the Dodgers, the same amount of losses. It says, well, look who is back. Yeah, of course they're fucking back. They've never gone anywhere. This team continues to do it year in and year out. And every year they get off to a little bit of a slow start. We think, oh, the Astros are done. Fuck off. And you know what Astros did? The Astros did to the Dodgers when they went into Dodger Stadium and heard all the boos and Altuve hearing the boos and all of it. It was one big fuck you to the world. The Houston Astros. You don't got to love them. I'm okay with that. You could even hate them. But if you're a Dodgers fan or a baseball fan, you better respect them because they have proven time and time again that they weren't just a one-trick pony. They weren't just banging because of the banging on the trash can. This organization has done a tremendous job. This team has done a tremendous job. And the one constant through all of it is Jose fucking Altuve. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of my favorite players of all time. And the fact that he's still doing what he's doing and still having to hear the bullshit that he's heard. And there's a lot of you at home probably saying, well, fuck that. He cheated. Oh, yeah? I had a conversation with AJ Hinch, and AJ told me the one thing that really bothers him about all of this is that Jose Altuve was the one that never wanted the fucking signs. How about that? So go ahead, America, and rest on that. All right, number 2 here. Speaking of AJ Hinch, well-deserved the Detroit Tigers, 58-34 record. So they have the best record in all of baseball, best record in the American League, and they're sitting there at number 2. Number 3, the Phillies, who lost to the Giants last night in San Francisco at 53-38. The Cubs are at number 4, 54-36. Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, the Houston Astros at number 5. Then it's the Mets at 6, the Yankees at 7, the Blue Jays at 8, the Rays at 9, and then the Milwaukee Brewers at 10. The Brewers spanking the Los Angeles Dodgers last night as well. A complete scoreboard from yesterday, and then we'll get into some of today's games. This was a Monday slate around MLB. Detroit 5-1 at home over Tampa. It was Boston over Colorado. So Colorado now 21-70. Holy shit. There was a graphic, we put it up on No Filter Network yesterday, where the Colorado Rockies over the past, 20, 30 games have been better than the New York Yankees. How about that? Miami, they continue to play really good baseball. They're 41-48 now, 5-1 winners over the Cincinnati Reds. Kansas City, 9-3 over Pittsburgh. I saw some rumblings about Paul Skeens, and obviously he's doing everything he can do in his power. I think he's had 13 starts, given up 15 earned runs, and that's it. The question then becomes, is a guy like that wasted away in Pittsburgh? I don't know. But if you're the Pirates, obviously you need more than one fucking guy. So if I am the Pirates, would I consider trading Paul Skeens? Of course I would. I wouldn't even fucking hesitate. Either that or you figure out a way to bring in some fucking good players to surround him because it's just something's got to be done at this point. The Pirates, perennial losers. It's just been that way. And I do think it's obviously a great sports town. It's, for the most part, been a poorly run organization when it comes to winning baseball games. The Toronto Blue Jays, I think that's their 9th in a row. Holy shit, man. 8-4 winners over the Chicago White Sox. Like I mentioned, the Brewers donkey stomped the Los Angeles Dodgers 9-1 in Milwaukee. Houston went down to Cleveland. Sort of a trap game there, right? You had the big sweep of the Dodgers in Los Angeles. You come home, you play a hungry Cleveland team in desperate need of a win, and they surely got it. It was the Angels. They're trying to creep back to 500. They're 44 and 46, beating the Texas Rangers, who dropped to 44 and 47. So outside of that top spot in the West that the Astros hold, is pretty tight the rest of the way. The Arizona Diamondbacks 6-3 winners in San Diego. Manny Machado was 2,000th hit. And then the San Francisco Giants, Gigantes 3-1 winner over the Philadelphia Phillies. So tonight at 6:45 p.m., full slate of games here. You have the Phillies at the Giants. We will have that call live here on No Filter Network, at least while the show is going on. The game will be on in the TV behind me. One of my favorite things to do in all the podcasting world. That's why No Filter was created. Real-time, interactive, live streams, reaction to what's happening on the screen behind us and what's happening in these baseball games. It's the Mets at the Orioles. It's Tampa at Detroit again. Seattle travels to New York for 3 games set. You got Colorado at Boston. Miami at Cincinnati once again. Pittsburgh at Kansas City. The Cubs at Minnesota. Toronto at the White Sox. The Dodgers at Milwaukee. The Nats are in St. Louis. Cleveland and Houston again. Texas and Anaheim again. Arizona in San Diego again. I mentioned the Phillies and Giants going at it. And it is the Atlanta Braves, the Bravos, headed to Sacramento to take on the Athletics. So one last thing I want to get to before we roll here. This is something I'm not sure if you guys saw. I mean, I got to imagine you did. It's funny because I think I somehow, some way didn't put it here. It's something we'll discuss tonight on No Filter as well. But basically, the Cleveland Indians pitcher Luis Ortiz is in a whole heap of shit, man. So I don't know if you've seen the story going around, but basically it was a week or two ago where Ortiz was throwing the first pitch of an inning, and in one case, he threw a slider for a ball, and then the next case, he threw a slider for a ball, and neither one of these pitches was even fucking close. Well, there were gambling alerts, red flag alerts about these pitches. Well, why? Because there was a fuck ton of dollars that had been bet on whether or not Luis Ortiz was going to throw a strike. Now, can you bet on this shit? Yes, you can. I mean, you can, like I mentioned before, you can bet on 2 frogs fucking if you want. But this obviously was going to throw up red flags. Well, they did it once. And again, this was a couple weeks ago. And if you look at the pitch, the slider, it missed. It didn't miss egregiously. But the next one that happened 12 days afterwards wasn't even fucking close. Like, I mean, not even close at all. So the red flags went up. Investigators got into it. And Luis Ortiz has now been pulled from Major League Baseball pending this investigation. Real sad story, man. And I get it. I know that you have these gambling experts that go into Major League clubhouses that then explain to everybody the risks of gambling and the fact that you could be permanently banned, yada, yada, onward and upward. Well, the problem is, and I'm not making excuses, but you take a guy like Ortiz, who's from the Dominican Republic and may not speak a ton of English, and you then get surrounded by some not great people, ill-advising him to do stupid shit, potentially getting him in on it, whether he was trying to make whoever it was money. The amount of money that he could make on the baseball field far exceeds whatever he could do by fucking throwing this pitch. This is idiotic. This is a tragedy, I think, in a lot of ways. I'm going to root for Ortiz and hope that he somehow could get reinstated at some point. But from everything that I've read, from everything that I've seen, he's fucked, man. I mean, he really is screwed. So, does this bring up a bigger issue? Yes. Now, from Ortiz's standpoint, he's looking at it like, dude, it's one pitch. What does it matter? One fucking pitch, right? Well, what does it matter? Your career matters. And it's just something that, again, is I'd love to get Thrill's perspective on this tonight, but it's going to be probably something along the lines of you fucking dumbass. There's no other way to put it. I would say that I hope Major League Baseball cracks down to the extent of continuing to educate these players. Don't fucking be stupid. It's like I tell my kids before they go out in the world each day. Make great choices. That's it. Make great choices. Don't do stupid shit. Those are two things. If you don't do stupid shit and you make great choices, typically life turns out pretty well. All right, we'll see you tonight. Deuces Wild, 6:05 p.m. Pacific time. That's about it. See ya.